What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One Set.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to another episode of the One Set Podcast. I'm Jim Green, along with my co-host, my best friend, Anthony Irvin. Anthony, what is going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a good week, man. I'm almost, getting on my shift. That means the fact that I'm going to be having a couple days during the week where I'll have some time to myself and we'll be able to have some in-person episodes very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And with that, before we get into a lot of our predictions tonight, because we got a good WrestleMania card for you guys that we're going to be going over. We're going to go over the whole WrestleMania card, night 1 and night 2. We got a whole thing for you. But before that, we just want to say, if you're watching us for the first time, make sure you're hitting us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and make sure you're subscribing right here on YouTube, all at the handle of One Set Pod. And we are uploading every Friday at 9 a.m. So thank you all for tuning in if you're a first timer, and if you're an OG, welcome back again. Jim, tell everybody where you can find us on and outside of the episodes.
So Facebook One Set fan group is where it's at. We have quite a few people. It's in its early stages right now, but we've got a lot of interaction going on for WrestleMania season. And once WrestleMania season ends, we're going to be getting back into a lot of other talk with sports, and not just sports, other life things, events, such on that front. The One Set fan group, those of you that do tune in weekly, we do thank and appreciate you for joining us along that journey, especially our friends right now during WrestleMania season. This
100%.
This is like me and Anthony's Super Bowl. Not that we don't care about the Super Bowl. We love the Super Bowl. But Anthony and I have been such big fans of WWE specifically. Anthony's 25, 26 years now. I think 26 if we go back to WrestleMania 15.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's usually the marker we kind of go off of, dude. It's crazy. And knowing the fact that, from 15 and now we're going on to 41, I can't say that I've seen every single WrestleMania. There's some WrestleManias I do got to go back and look at from front to back, but it's just crazy how time has passed.
Yeah, there's some in the mid-20s that I might have just casually watched. Like, the mid-20s, I was like kind of tuned in. I know Anthony was like really out of it for a while.
Yeah.
I think we established it was like 2001, 2002, like
ish,
until 2012, like when, because you went to 29, right?
I did go to 29. So I think probably 27, 28 is when I started getting back. And because when it was The Rock, when he came back and started feuding with CM Punk and Cena around that time era. So like 27, 28. And then me and Jen saw that Mania was coming to the Jersey, New York area. I'm like, dude, I've never been to Mania. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know I was going to go back for a second and third time. So it's been awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I didn't go to WrestleMania last year when it was in Philly. I know you got to go. Just like where I was in life, like financially, I was like, I am going to watch at home and be totally okay with it. And after last year, I was like, maybe I'll plan for Vegas next year. Because like I really wanted to, I was like, I think I really want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns in person, right? And
that's like the epic match that everybody would probably want to be seeing.
Yeah.
Because if anything, that could be Rock's, final match too. You never know.
I think it has to be. Like, there's nothing after
Definitely,
that for
like
The
the
Rock to
passing of the
do.
torch for
Yeah.
Rock, passing it to, the next big person in his Samoan family, who other than Roman Reigns, So
Yeah. And, like, to think of if they forced that match for WrestleMania 40, like, it would have been like, okay, it's great just because it's the match we've all been waiting for.
yeah,
And then it was like, we were kind of expecting it for this year, but kind of not.
right.
The development of Roman Reigns since he lost to Cody Rhodes, like, he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Hmm.
So when we do get that match, I think we're going to get it at 42. Like, it's not going to go to 43. We say that, but
Yeah.
like, it's not going to go to 43. It can't.
Yeah,
So
I think that's way too long. But then again, long form storytelling at its finest. I mean, in Hunter we trust.
Yeah. We just keep saying, "Oh, The Rock's not getting any younger," but like, clearly the guy is still in impeccable shape. So like,
He just puts in another shot. And he's like, "I'll take it." Like,
yeah. I don't know, man.
We won't go there though.
Yeah.
We're gonna get in trouble here. Like,
I'm already in my mind, like, what do I have to do to get to New Orleans next year? And I'm like, it is one of the places that I haven't been to that I would really like to go to.
I've been to New Orleans for a conference, and it was a couple years ago, and I really didn't get to. I went on Bourbon Street
Mhm.
and did the whole thing, but I definitely would feel like I would want to go back as not like for a work thing. I would
Mhm.
love to just go in that type of sense. That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude.
So especially for WrestleMania week, you know, big things are bound to happen.
Yeah, it's like, I had a couple friends of mine get to go to New Orleans to see the Eagles win at the Super Bowl. My thing is like, okay, but what if I buy a ticket for the Super Bowl and the Eagles lose?
Yeah.
At least, like, with where I am right now, I wouldn't go to a WrestleMania and be like, it stunk because this person didn't win or this person lost. I would go to see how I would go for the experience of WrestleMania. Like, that's just where
Absolutely.
I am, like, with watching wrestling on TV now. Like, okay, the storylines are all important. I actually, like, I convinced myself of this because I didn't get to go to WrestleMania when it was in Philly, but I was like, I enjoy hearing the commentary. Like, when I go to see a wrestling event live in person, I'm like, I'm missing the commentary out of this, like, just watching the match without hearing. And I just I love Michael Cole and Pat McAfee together, man. Like, I think
they're such a good duo.
They make it, man.
And I just watched back, not for the first time. I've done it since last year, but I showed Anth the night that me and Jen went to Mania on night 2, and I showed him, WrestleMania, because it's unfortunate because I wish he was into wrestling as much as he was now as he was this time last year, because I was thinking, maybe I'll bring him to WWE World because that's like the best thing to just introduce him to everything, but he wasn't really into it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to spend the money, and he just wants to be there for an hour and then he's ready to go, because it definitely does not take an hour to get through all that stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend the money because he's probably not fully interested. If I did it now, if Manny was in Philly this year, he would be like beyond excited to go. But
I think there's going to be, in the next, let's see, Grayson is one.
There's definitely going to be chances for him to go.
Well, there's going to, and I'm just going off of, Grayson's going to be into it too. Like, there is there is a chance that maybe it's not his thing, but
brother see, brother do, pretty much.
Yeah. In a perfect world, the 4 of you are going to find a WrestleMania for all 4 of you to go to. Like, in the next 10 years, I would imagine, right? Like,
I would like to think that Philly probably does get another Mania.
Yeah, if they wind up going to May, because there were rumors of WrestleMania pushing to May.
Uh-huh.
They were talking about it at this time last year. They were talking about WrestleMania 41 possibly being in the middle of May, and everyone was like, "That's so late." And
Right.
I think that was kind of off of the idea that, like, yeah, night one in Philly was cold, so like
Was so cold.
the performers were feeling away. The people in the audience were chilly, so
Mm-hmm.
the crowd noise wasn't really a thing. Instead, people were like, "Oh, that's just the Philly sports fans." It's like WrestleMania is not just made up of Philly sports fans. Like, people travel from all over the world to see WrestleMania.
Yeah,
So, like,
I mean, they put it on the West Coast and warmer like states for a reason in that time.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think they probably knew they were putting in a risk, because it's one thing you have to worry about rain here and there, but I'm pretty sure they didn't factor in, like, well, it could probably be, you never know, it probably still could be cold in April. You know, we're going through a cold front right now a little bit.
Yeah, and it's going to be
it's WrestleMania weekend again, so
it's going to be 83 degrees this weekend.
I mean, it would have been so much better last year having the hotter weather this weekend, but yeah, we just got done going through a cold front, so it's like very unpredictable still in April right now.
Up and down, hit or miss. Yeah,
but yeah, so the closest thing we obviously got right now is SummerSlam. That's back in the MetLife, but that's going to be his birthday weekend, so that's kind of a shot. But I'm like, again, his cousin went to one of the Raws back in October, so he got to go. So, I'll definitely get Anthony into one of those, but definitely want to get him on one of the pay-per-views down the line and everything. So I'm cool with him just watching the product and just getting to know everything. So that's cool. And
just build up his excitement on the weekly basis on TV, so that
it's
when
awesome.
when you do get to take him in person, he's going to be jonesing. Like, it's going to be so cool, man.
Yeah. So, let's get into this card. Let's get into this.
Night one.
Obviously, night one. Let's start night one. So we have a Wikipedia thing up right now. And we have like the graphics, obviously, too, with all the matches. But do we want to say the order for night one that this has and kind of discuss a little bit of how we think the order might change, or do we feel? Because I know we were saying off air that this kind of seems pretty accurate, but then again, there might be one or two matches we feel it might be here and there.
I think we can go in order based off of what Wikipedia is saying now. And by the way, we are recording on Tuesday night, so if you're watching this,
yes,
you're going to be watching this because it's not going to come out until Friday. If you're watching this Friday or Saturday, or even after that, there may be matches added to this card on SmackDown.
Yeah, we still have the big SmackDown go-home shows, so we don't know if there might be a match or two. I would say if just one more match added, but because we will get Cody and John Cena in their last, little promo before, so we won't obviously be able to cover that until. But so everything is right now up until before SmackDown.
And WrestleMania SmackDown, right?
WrestleMania SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, so we are getting a Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. We don't know what that is. I think just like the odds, because there's betting odds for wrestling now. It's just, it's pretty great. It's crazy to think. But the leading odds favorite is Nick Aldis actually getting that match. And I think Aleister Black is like right behind him. So
the mark of marks, that would be so cool,
dude.
Just because we were expecting him probably the SmackDown after, but who'd have known the fact that somebody just comes up to him and says, "Hey, we were going to put you on SmackDown after, but this happened to happen. How would you like to come back at WrestleMania?" Duh. Like,
yeah. Well, and the thing is like, if anything, like, Randy is a company guy. I was watching, Triple H just had this big interview podcast. I think it's called High Performance. So if you saw clips of him, like where he was in an interview, that just dropped a couple days ago. I watched maybe an hour of it. It was like an hour and 45 minutes. And I was like,
Gotcha.
okay, I don't have an hour and 45, just sit and watch it beginning to end. So I kind of caught it in pieces. Really good stuff. And it's mostly just Triple H talking the whole time, which is nice. Because sometimes when you see those interview podcasts, it's like the interviewer is doing kind of a lot of like talking in between.
Yeah.
He's talking 95% of the time, which is really nice. But
yeah, it's just letting him kind of roll and like letting him free talk, which is cool. Instead of it kind of constantly being like a question answer. Like he's just letting him freely talk. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely recommend checking that out. But he was talking about how Randy Orton came up to him and was like, "So I heard you weren't at TV last week." And Triple H was like, "Yeah, my daughter had this softball tournament in Florida, and I just didn't want to miss it." And Randy's like, "I'm so proud of you." Like for Triple H to be able to say, "I'm going to miss TV to go do this thing with my daughter," like I just love that he is able to project that on the rest of the company. Where it's like he said, there's never going to be someone in 40 years that says, "Oh yeah, but you missed that one day at work." So it's just a really from a, I guess a humane standpoint,
for sure,
he understands that the wrestlers are people, and instead of them making them work to death like how the industry used to be. Anyway, back to Randy Orton. I'll be fine with the Nick Aldis match. It's just kind of a throwaway.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be anything like whoa, but yeah,
it's just I feel like maybe that's the match, and then maybe you get the Aleister Black return right there, like that. If they give us Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis, there's got to be something after. But at the same time, it's like Backlash is in St. Louis, and they're almost definitely positioning Randy Orton to get a title match, whether it is John Cena or Cody Rhodes. So Aleister Black doesn't make sense right then and there.
Yeah, because if you're going to put Aleister in a return, he's got to go over with that. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of hard to think that Randy's not foreign to losing at Mania, but, I would like to obviously see Aleister take the big win in his return, especially the first match coming back into WWE. Well, so he has to have a decent, win over that.
It's like Cody Rhodes when he made his return and he had his win over Seth Rollins at Mania. It's like it already put him up here in the food chain, right?
Absolutely.
So you do the same thing with Aleister Black going over Randy Orton. Right. Aleister Black is sitting up here, and I am ready for it.
Same, dude. Same. I also saw something with Randy. This must have been maybe a couple hours ago. Somebody posted, what if, again, like this would be insane if this just happened to be, it would be Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. So that would be like a random, it'd be so random, but like the pop that Jeff Hardy would get, just standing alone would be amazing.
I would absolutely freaking love that. I think Triple H is looking at Jeff Hardy to prove himself, and
I think so too.
Rather than say, "Oh yeah, let's put Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania with Randy Orton,"
yeah, I think Jeff. I mean, not even more from Matt, but I think Jeff's got a little bit to prove before they can, work their way up to the main roster. But like we've said before, I want to see Hardy's get one more good run, and then they get into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But I don't think. Hopefully within this next year we see that. But I think Jeff's got a little bit to prove before somebody can, pull that trigger and be like, yeah, let's do it now.
Yeah, I mean, if Matt and Jeff if their bodies are still okay, I would not be surprised if they did a TLC match at WrestleMania 42 next year for the 25th anniversary of TLC. And that match is probably the next match to get inducted into the Hall of Fame if we're being serious.
That's the way it's going, because we have said that Bubba Ray and the Hardys and everybody have already spoken, saying like, "Hey, if this goes, we're on. Like, let's do it."
It's just a matter of if Edge and Christian go. But like, I feel like they would just say to Tony Khan, like, "We're going to this. If you don't like it, like, you can fire us." Like,
if you don't want us to go, we're gonna go anyways. It don't matter. I mean, we're gonna do this one last match with them. Call it a night. You know.
Yeah. We shall see. Let's get into the card itself. We did want to just mention that Randy Orton thing because it is going to get added. There's another match that I am holding out for them adding. We'll talk about that because I think that would get added.
Sure.
There's currently 7 matches on night 1 and 6 on night 2. I do kind of think that Randy Orton match is going to get added to Saturday.
Yeah.
Because the other match that I am holding out for should get added to Sunday, and we'll wait for Sunday to talk about that.
Cool.
So first match on the Wikipedia list is the Raw Tag Team Champions. They're not called the Raw. It's the Tag Team Champions from Raw, which is the World Tag Team Champions. The War Raiders defending against the New Day.
The War Raiders.
If this tag team championship is getting a match at WrestleMania and the WWE SmackDown, like the WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown isn't getting on the card, it just makes me feel like, and you're going to tell me I'm fanboying on this,
I know where you're going.
It just makes me feel like Big E has to come out here.
I want it so bad.
Dude.
I was telling Jen about that tonight. I'm like, if they're putting this on the card, Big E has to cost them the match. It's the only way that this would be effective. I mean, even if the New Day do win, I'm hoping Big E gets some type of like moment in there with them. But obviously the biggest thing would be is Big E costing them the match because nobody wants to see them win. Obviously, at this point, they've gotten all the heat and obviously with how New Day was trying to really gain the heat at first because everybody was so hell bent on the fact that they were this big babyface tag team for so many years, and they just like all of a sudden just switched, and now everybody's like, okay, we're supposed to hate you, but we still kind of really like you a little bit, but they've really started after like that first couple weeks. I think Xavier and Kofi have really done a better job at like playing the heel character. I know I think Xavier caught onto it really well at first, but I think Kofi had to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, he was awkward about it, right? Like
I felt Xavier really plays the heel really well, but Kofi is like
when everything started to happen with them like eventually getting to that heel turn, Xavier was the first one that was showing signs of being bitter, and Kofi was like, "Come on, man, what's wrong with you?" And Xavier was like, "I'm tired of this kind of thing," right?
Yeah.
So
I'm tired
of this shit.
Y'all
man.
killing me over here.
Y'all killing me with this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate-based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to Zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
as far as where Xavier was going, Kofi finally was like, "Oh yeah, no, you're right." They had some like really heated words backstage, I remember, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is getting spicy,
Spicy. Yeah.
spicy."
Then they just flipped it on us and then just made it about, well, Big E was the problem and all this. You left us because you got injured. And so, I mean,
it was the 10-year anniversary celebration, right?
so
So to me, it's they only pulled the trigger on the heel turn. One, the New Day was stale, right? Like just Kofi and Xavier were stale, just trying to be faces,
they
and
needed
everyone's like,
something. They needed a change.
they
So
needed a change.
and it's been in a talk for a long time that New Day's either going to break up or they're going to go heel. So
Mhm.
I'm fine with them going heel and still kind of trying to revive whatever. But you know, I'm still just hoping, and Biggie doesn't obviously have to wrestle to cost them the match. There's a lot of things he can do to not really wrestle to cost them the match. So I'm hoping for that. And we've seen a lot of big matches start off that we wouldn't think that would start the night. And we're like, okay, something's going to happen here. Big example, Seth and Brock. When that match, we're like, dude, Seth is
Winning.
getting the belt off
Yep.
that, and Brock is leaving. And that's what happened at 35. We were all marking out to that.
Yeah, we were jazzed, man. I mean, I was
Yeah.
like, Beast Slayer is coming into fruition right now. Let's go.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if hopefully that's where they're going. That, we get to that big moment and Big E just comes out of nowhere and does something to cost them the match. And you finally get the payoff from Big E with everything that they, talked down to him about, that he was the reason everything happened. So hopefully Big E finally gets that moment to, pay back what they did to him.
So I will say this. I feel like Big E's going to wrestle again.
You think you're at that point where he's going to wrestle?
I think that the whole turn and everything with them turning Kofi and Xavier heel and getting rid of Big E was to get us to WrestleMania, to get Big E to make his comeback. And I think Big E is going to have a new tag team partner. Who do you think would benefit the most from this? And someone that will help Big E and protect him, but also it will get a giant rub from Big E, and Big E and this person would have a program against Kofi and Xavier. And then eventually this tag partner would break out, and then we would get the triple threat between Kofi, Xavier, and Big E.
I can't even think of the person you're thinking about, but I'm so stoked to see what you're thinking about. So just tell me.
It's got to be Trick Williams, man.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Dude, Big E and Trick Williams together. You know how...
high energy.
Dude,
yeah.
You know that would... If that happens, I'll be so jazzed. I could...
Yeah.
What I could also see happening is Big E shows up to congratulate them, and the two of them just beat the dog shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of ways you can play it where...
So if they do that, and people are going to say, Big E's not even cleared to wrestle, which at that point you'll know Big E's coming back to wrestle, right?
Yeah.
And then Big E comes back with Trick Williams, and they just... That would be awesome. That would be a sick Backlash matchup, man.
Yeah,
that's
give it to me.
Call it fantasy booking, but if you're putting this Raw tag team, I'm calling it the Raw Tag Team Championship. The
it's
world,
fine. We got
the World Tag Team Champions are on Raw. I don't see the War Raiders retaining because that does nothing.
No,
it does nothing for Kofi and Xavier here, right?
No.
So I have the New Day winning the belts here.
Like I said, the only way War Raiders take it is if Big E cost them the match.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think War Raiders drop it because, I mean, I'm a big War Raiders fan,
Me too.
but
They could lose it and get it back in 2 or 3 months, and we'd be like, cool.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Way to get back on track. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
So, I mean, they can lose it and I won't feel anything towards it. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, they've been kind of stale. They deserve to lose it for a little bit, get some heat back, and then they get a rematch later down the road. Fine. Cool. But I think there's something bigger coming out of this, hopefully, hence why they're opening with it. So hopefully it's a Big E return.
Yeah. I mean, the other big, like I thought you were alluding to how the Elimination Chamber just started off the gate really hot.
Yeah.
So a Big E return to start off WrestleMania Saturday, give it to me, right?
Absolutely. 100%, bro.
Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio.
Man, Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Not Chad Gable, by the way.
Not Chad Gable at all. No.
He
is off the card.
I gotta say, they were talking about this being a mask versus mask match, which I think it has to be so that they can get. I mean, you basically had El Grande Americano trying to take Dragon Lee's mask off, right? So that to me was like a teaser that it was going that route. Or maybe they don't make it a mask versus mask match, and you just have Rey Mysterio actually take off.
Yeah.
Chad Gable's mask.
That's definitely happening.
Well, yeah, it's just like Randy Orton was definitely punning Kevin Owens in the head, and now it's just not happening, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll obviously get the Chad Gable reveal.
Yeah.
Oops, spoiler.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry. But yeah, I think, again, not much more to say about this match, but the fact that Ray is going to obviously win the match and we get the reveal of Chad Gable.
I am looking forward to it because both those guys are great in the ring together. Like,
I think it's going to be a good, I'm going to say this in a weird way. I think it's going to be a fun mini-man match, but it's going to be, fun because the fact that it's Rey Mysterio, he is just having a fun time just riding out the rest of his career at this point. And just putting people over or just, giving people, the time that they deserve. So just seeing Ray out there just still wrestling and doing his thing, cool. So, yeah, I would just give Ray the match win. Obviously, him taking the mask off of Chad Gable or El Grande, getting that all out of there. Yep. And Chad Gable being like, we knew it was you. But, yeah. Again, spoiler.
Yeah, I think with the LWO and you have American Made, you've got shenanigans going on the outside.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. I'm here for it. I wasn't expecting that match to be added, but I think it's a nice breather, which, like, to me,
for sure,
means it could go second if you get that Big E return, or
yeah,
if you get something hot right off the gate to start WrestleMania, it can land. It can land there, and I'm good with it. What I was going to say is I don't think Rey Mysterio is going to retire until he faces Dom with the world title on the line. Right?
Yep. I don't even really need to see a title with that, but yeah, Ray is definitely not retiring until he has one more feud with Dom. For sure. And it's going to end up being like a big hug out. Dom and him are okay, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's going to be the point where, and I'm not going to go into this too much, but it'll be at a point where Dom is out of the Judgment Day. Because obviously I still think Liv is going to screw over Dom at some point or another. And he's going to be left alone because it was in the point where Dom was, getting into the Judgment Day. So this whole brand new faction and, people that he thought that were his friends. And then it gets to a point where Ray sees him all alone. He's like, hey, where's all these people you thought they were your friends? And blah, 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 blah. They get into a big match. Ray wins. Dom gets that, like, hey, Ray gets to the point where Dom's like, I told you so moment. and it's that retirement match for Ray.
Yeah, I am just
Or you
like,
could get Dom winning over Ray, but it being more on the fact that obviously they come together in the end.
yeah, I don't know. Like, that's tricky in itself. Is wondering like, oh, is Liv going to screw over Dom, or is Dom going to screw over Liv? Because you can turn Liv back to face, and everyone will love her again, right?
Yes.
I think Dom being one of the biggest heels in the company is the best bet for him. Like, just leave him right there. Like, because once you turn him face, people will be like really cool with it for, I don't know, like a little bit, and then I feel like he's just gonna be somebody. Like
Yeah.
when Finn has had his face runs where it's like, it's Finn Balor, like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, it's kind of boring,
And I definitely want to get into more of the Dom and Finn thing, but I'll put more emphasis into that during the Intercontinental
when we get to that.
Champion. But there's a lot that I would definitely want to talk about that. But yeah.
Sure, let's move on to Jade and Naomi if you're cool with that.
Yeah, let's do that. Again, this match, I'm like, I think Jade obviously gets the win, but here's what I got to say about Naomi. I think this is the first time I've actually, since like her glow stuff, which was like, hey, yeah, babyface glow and everything.
It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but I think her doing the heel run and changing it up to this like, schizo, psycho type, frantic type of character now that like she was almost like doing this to like benefit Bianca because she felt that Jade was, kind of using her. I think Naomi's doing a good job with the character, but again, I still think she is just always going to be in like the mid card level, but it still is just not really selling too much, obviously. And I think Jade still has a lot to prove to really, move up into, the higher card if she wants to be, in the championship realm in a couple years. But, I still think Jade gets the win out of this. I think this will eventually build up to a Bianca Belair and Jade match later down, hopefully by SummerSlam, if not after. But yeah, I really don't have much more to say other than the fact that I think Jade's just going to get this win.
I think that this is the best situation for the both of them. Where it's like, hey, you two are getting the first women's singles match at WrestleMania in 19 years. It's either 17 or 19 years. That's wild to me. Okay, so you have.
Yeah, it's true because the last one there was a triple threat. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have. No titles involved. It's just Naomi against Jade. Naomi's being given a chance here to make something of her. This is like the last shot for Naomi to be relevant
for sure.
And I think she's trying. She's doing a great job being given what she's dealt. And I think Jade, knowing that she has worked closely with Naomi for the last year, they have to go in the ring and prove that they can put on a stellar match to seal the deal for the feud, right? So I have said in the One Set fan group chat, Jade's had some timing issues, so they better be practicing this match already. I said that last week. I'm like, if they go in there and they hit all their marks and there's no timing issues and botches and stuff like that, because Jade's been known to make a couple botches here and there. If they go out there and hit all their marks and they nail the match, and I do think Jade gets the win here. She would benefit the most from it. Naomi can eat the loss and still be in that role. And
as long as Naomi, looks good in the match and just, there's one thing if you're losing the match, but if you look good losing, that's one thing too. Then you can obviously be like, okay, well, out of like the matches that she's had in the past, this is even though she did lose, she looked good in the match, so it can lead her into bigger things down the line too, because, she did win, the world championship once or twice, but she didn't have long reigns, of course. But like you said, this is like almost like your last leg. This is something to really prove if you want to get into the next level again. And I would not mind her keeping this heel character after this anyway. I think
Sure.
she definitely needs to, stick with this heelish, like, bad girl type of scenario instead, and just let go of the glow thing at this point, because it's pretty much overridden anything. It's just pretty much gotten old at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get, because Bianca's going to go through her triple threat, which we're going to talk about for Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if you get Naomi going after Bianca, whether she wins that match or not. And then somehow we get a triple threat with all three of them, with Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. And then eventually we get Bianca and Jade.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as soon as SummerSlam or if they wind up holding it out, like if they're able to drag it out all the way until Mania next year. I do think that's a Mania marquee match, but Jade has steps to take to get there to make that match elevated.
Yeah.
Because if they did it this year, I think it would just kind of be maybe not a flop, but it not as great as it should be, as we'd all hope it to be.
Right.
So yeah, I have Jade getting that win. I do think Naomi just sticks with that character, and yeah, I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know if Bianca pulls back into that, or we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's move on to LA Knight defending the United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. Is there any way Jacob Fatu is not winning this match?
I was just thinking about it, and the fact that although I love LA Knight, he did get a win last year at Mania. So I think Jacob Fatu, with how they've been pushing him, there's no way he's losing.
The only way he loses is if Solo Sikoa actually costs him the match. But I don't think...
Yeah. I think this is almost in the way to get Jacob Fatu and Solo starting a feud together, you know, so he can just say, hey, I did this all on my own. I didn't need you or Tonga. I did this all on my own. So, yeah, as much as I love LA Knight, and I really don't think it's going to hurt him if he loses either.
No.
So, I mean, I think he's always going to be, in that mid to upper level card at this point. But I think this is a match that Jacob Fatu has to win with the way that they've been pushing him, like this whole WrestleMania, season. The fact that they've been pushing him, even though he's been like this bad guy, but they've been, treating him like he's a face, almost like the tweener type of definition. The fact that he's been a good guy, but acting like a bad guy. So, yeah, he just definitely needs to win this one, and definitely needs to get into the Solo feud right after this.
Yeah, there's also apparently a couple other Bloodline members just waiting to be brought into the main roster picture. So it's like, give us Jacob Fatu with his United States Championship, have Solo and Tonga Loa will be back. I mean, I know he was injured in the War Games match too, I think. So we'll get the three of them, and then have Jacob bring in the other two guys, and then we get another 3-on-3 Bloodline situation.
Right.
Totally cool with that. Moving on, Tiffany Stratton defending against Charlotte Flair. Again, just hard to bet against Charlotte.
It's really hard to bet, yeah. But I mean, the from when we last talked about this, on the fact that there was a lot that needed to happen in this in order for us to really gain a lot of weight to it. But once we had that whole outbreak of Tiff going off script and Charlotte going off script, it's really gained a lot of traction with that now, because
they brought drama into it. Like, they made it interesting.
And sometimes that's what you got to do to really start cooking everything. But
I think what they have to do is go out there and have the best match that they possibly can. Even if they don't like working with each other, they need to
Yeah.
go out there and do their job and put on a great match. And for the integrity of themselves, just be the absolute best that they can. Figure out how to work together, be professional, and sell this match. And say, even though the worst booking built feud up to the match, like most likely, right? Like the worst book match leading up to the match, give us a stellar match to just save it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't like to sometimes bet against Flair, but I am probably going to go with Tiff on this one.
I like it. I'm going to go with Charlotte, and I like us having a couple different picks.
Yeah, I figure we always usually have the 50-50, ones going where we pick one and the one that picks the other. So I think this is something, one of the first matches we're going to have to do is like one of us picks one, other picks other. So I'm going to go with Tiff on this one. I think she definitely has to win this one to gain her credibility if she wants to continue to stay up top here. We've seen Charlotte at the top. We know what she can do. But hopefully this is just them saying, hey, we have seen Charlotte here. Everybody expects her to win. And Tiff is just going to, get that win, and everybody's going to, it'll be an unexpected win for her. And it'll just bring her into that next level. So,
I would be very okay with Tiffany just getting the win and then say there's a qualifier and Charlotte wins that and she wins it at Backlash. Cool. Great.
If anything, I don't think Tiff is one to be holding it on for years or like a year, but I definitely think she needs this WrestleMania match for her to gain some credibility. For sure.
I think if she gets the win, she could lose it on Raw the next night, and I'd be totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Becky Lynch say that she is not wrestling?
I did.
I almost feel like that's a work because she's been
anything could be at this point.
I feel like they're just trying to swerve us at this point. So.
Because you could end up having Tiff win, and then next night or in SmackDown, Becky Lynch comes out, says, "Hey, you beat Charlotte, but you've never beat me." Then we get that at Backlash.
You've never beaten the man.
They beat the queen, but you never beat the man. There you go.
They definitely had some matches going there, because didn't Becky Lynch win the NXT Women's title off of Tiffany, and then they hot potatoed it back and forth or something like that? But that was with the NXT belt, right?
That was with the NXT belt. I think they had a couple things going with her and Tiff, so I think they do have a little bit of history.
I think that was also Triple H saying, "I want to put Tiffany on SmackDown, or Raw, just."
Mm-hmm.
Just to test her, give her some exposure to the main roster, while she still had. That's fine. Moving along here, Gunther defending against Jey Uso. Okay,
so I think this is another one that we're both gonna have to be like, you pick one, I pick the other. But again, it's like
I'm gonna roll with Gunther, man, and not because I don't like Jey Uso, but because
he hasn't sold it.
I felt like you were gonna stick to Jey Uso because it's like, why would they build him up the way that they have for him to just lose to Gunther at WrestleMania? Here's why I'm going with Gunther. Okay?
Yeah, give your thing first because I got a couple things too.
I don't like the idea of Gunther dropping the IC title to Sami Zayn last year, a smaller guy. And then him dropping the World Heavyweight title to Jey Uso, a smaller guy this year. That's number one. And that's not even the biggest. Can it happen 2 years in a row? Of course it can.
Yeah.
How many other times have we said, this person can't lose here?
Yep.
Brock Lesnar defends against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. If I was a betting man, I was all in. Roman Reigns had to win that match. That was his time to beat Brock Lesnar, to say, I've finally beaten Brock Lesnar. Guess what? Brock Lesnar won that match. Granted,
Yep.
Vince McMahon booking. So,
Yep.
Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 39 against Roman Reigns.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't see.
Where do we go from here?
I don't. I said, if Cody Rhodes loses, what do they do with him?
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes lost, and they sent him on this 1-year goose chase. That was like, okay, I know what you're doing here. I know you're just buying time until he winds up facing Roman again. And number 3, Jey Uso just hasn't done it for me, man. I mean,
No.
the only thing that really did it for me was when Gunther obliterated Jimmy Uso, and I said, okay, after that, Jey Uso's got 2 Monday Night Raws to really sell me, and he didn't.
And it's just been promos.
And he didn't
once
sell
again.
me.
And that's my thing right now. It's like and again, it's not necessarily all just him, but it's the booking. Like the booking and him are relying on the fans and his like community of Yeet and all that to get him the win, which, yeah, I mean, it's fine. You're getting him over. He's over. We know it. But he has not shown it physically. He's not shown it to the point where, I like the fact that he feels that he's getting one over on Gunther because of the fact that he came out last week and, started getting in his head a little bit. But again, this past Monday, hence last night with the way we're recording this, was the perfect time where Gunther was out in the ring, frustrated. Could have been the perfect time for Jay to go out there, ambush him, beat him down. I would have been like, Jay's winning. There you go. That's what we needed. But both, like you said, both Monday Night Raws, they had perfect opportunities for him to retaliate on Gunther because he beat up Jimmy, because he's been doing this, and they just relied on Jimmy doing half-ass mediocre promos saying yeet and all this other stuff, and just relying on this to get him the overness that he just deserves, which, yeah, we know he's over, but it's not selling the fact that we think that he can win. And maybe that's just what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep him as the underdog, which is fine, because then it'll just make the win even sweeter for him, because he's always been the underdog. But I just don't think they've been booking it right. I think, I would want to go Gunther too, but I still think Jay gets this somehow. I don't think he deserves it, but before the Rumble, when he won the Rumble, we're all like, yeah, he's going to win the championship. He deserves it. I mean, he's been going through this whole factor of like getting over on the crowd, but he's never won the big one. So this is his time to really show and, prove that he deserves to have the big belt. But he just has not shown it, at least in my eyes. And, for the fans of Jay, they'll all say, well, he's going to win it. He's going to win. But yeah, but there's only so many times you can come out and say every Monday, I'm going to beat your ass. We know, but there's only so many times you can say that and believe it too.
Yeah, there's got to be like a level of confidence that, like, I feel like he had that when he won the Intercontinental Championship, and I was like, this is good. This is good. This is good. I feel like that it was so rushed on him and then off of him.
Yeah, I told you then. I think they could have still kept him the Intercontinental Champion while helping out Roman, because that would have just put more emphasis on Jay, knowing that he still has that singles run, but I guess they figured they didn't want to take the spotlight off of Roman and what he was doing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, I still think they should have kept Jay with that belt while doing that stuff, because it was like he just got it. He just got into that realm of being a champion, and then he just dropped it. It's like...
Yeah,
like,
that to me is like, okay, what? They're going to have him get the belt off of Gunther, and then he's going to drop it right back to Gunther, and then he's going to be swimming around in the upper mid card again. Like at that point, like why? Like why even bother? Right.
So, I mean, my thing is I would want to pick Gunther, but somehow I think that they're just going to pick Jay just because he's, over, and that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like on the opposite front, I want to pick Jey Uso. I feel like that's going to be the one where it's like, oh, it seems so predictable that they're going to give it to Jey Uso that I think that they're going to troll us and say, yep, nope, Gunther somehow like it might just be Jey Uso is right there and it looks like he's about to win the match, and then out of nowhere something happens and Gunther just lays him out and gets a quick pin, and then it's like, oh my God, Jey Uso was so close, he was right there, right?
So just like the Tiff and Charlotte, I'm going to say I don't care who wins because I'll be happy with either one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I'm saying Gunther, I will be equally as happy if Jey Uso wins as I would be if Gunther retains. Like I'm good with it either way.
Here's my thing too, and this will be the last thing for the. If they want to, now this probably would not be the best way for Jay to win because he obviously needs to win clean, but they could obviously have Jimmy helping Jay.
Yeah, I thought about that.
And that could be a possibility too. And then, that'll be the thing is like, oh, you couldn't do it on your own.
That's true. Yep.
So then that's the next angle.
Yep.
That, you could probably get the rematch with Gunther and saying like, hey, well, you only beat me because you had Jimmy in your corner and I had almost beat you. But if it wasn't for Jimmy, you would have lost.
Yeah. And then you have dissension there where Jay's mad at Jimmy. And then.
Yeah. Like I didn't ask you to come out. I could have done it myself. Like, and yeah. So you could have another feud with them for a title.
That seems to be the higher likelihood of the route that they're going to go.
Because if you have Jay winning, you have to have something right away for him. And I feel that type of scenario with, him and his brother, or if Gunther still wants to be in this type of thing for a rematch, the best thing would be is if Jimmy helps Jay win the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the only other storyline you can continue this thing after Mania with and let that roll into Backlash or something.
Yeah, I mean, you also have the benefit of Jimmy Uso winning the title opens up the door for like a Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn world title match, which is like you could see Sami Zayn beating Jey Uso and like that being a very real possibility that like Sami Zayn could be the champion by beating Jey Uso, right?
Yeah, because he's going to be an easy target for a lot of people too, because
of his size, right? Like
size and vulnerability and like there's a lot of things you can go off. So he's still going to be the underdog, even if he is champion. He's still going to be a very vulnerable champion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I still don't think Jay's going to really do much because he's just going to rely on the, and again, it's fun because he has like the whole Daniel Bryan thing with the yes movement and everything. But the thing is, Daniel Bryan backed up everything with being able to retaliate on people and not just relying on going out every week and going like this. Yep. And that's all you saw every week.
And that's all it was. Yeah. So with
that's anything that Jay is right now. All he does is this, says yeet this and put back on my music. Because we know that anything past like 3-4 minutes of him talking is just gibberish.
It's overkill. Yeah. I do have to agree. Like it might just be Triple H saying, "Okay, we're going to put the belt on you, but your title reign, the length of it, will depend on how you carry that title." I mean, that's anyone with a championship belt, right? Like they're going to
pretty safe.
So with that, unless Jey Uso just comes out of nowhere, steps up, and he's like this crazy good promo guy all of a sudden because he's got the title. I don't even see him holding that title until SummerSlam. Like I think he drops it before, which is sad because at that point, why even give it to him? Just to say he did. Let's get into this triple threat, man.
Let's get into the main event for night one.
Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Seth Rollins. So Paul Heyman is in quite a conundrum here, right?
Yeah, he's in a pickle.
So he is definitely going to play into the match finish somehow.
Yes.
It's you can't just say, oh, Paul Heyman's going to be in CM Punk's corner, and then these three guys are going to wrestle, and we're going to get a clean finish, okay? Now,
Yeah.
that being said, triple threat rules means there's no disqualification, so anything goes here, right?
Yep.
Honestly, like on paper, when I first heard that this was the rumor, like the week before the Royal Rumble, and then I saw how those eliminations played out, I was like, they're giving us that triple threat. And I was like,
yeah,
it seems so lazy, but they made the story important and they made it feel important and good. And the drama around it has been built so well. I mean, Triple H was saying on that podcast I was talking about earlier, he literally gave the three of them and Paul like the bullet points and said, okay, go talk about how you want to write this out and script it, and then come back to me if you have questions. And they all worked it out. And Triple H was like, oh, well, what if you do this? Or what if you say it this way? And they're like, oh, well, that adds a whole different layer to it. So they've been working very, very diligently on how this is all panning out, which is why it's so good. It's probably, everyone's like, there needs to be stakes on the line. No, there doesn't. It's been interesting enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to have any titles or stakes to this. Like you said, having these three dudes in a ring together fighting sells itself.
I think Seth Rollins going for the stomp on Paul and then holding back on it and saying, now you owe me a favor. I was like, dude, that just made it like
cinema.
Yeah. So, I mean, gut instinct tells me that Seth Rollins is walking out of there with Paul Heyman. What a way to close out night one of Mania.
That's the way that I'm going. And shout out to my new wrestling friend at work. I won't say his name yet because I'm not sure about names. But I asked him.
Is this the guy that you noticed like your first week there was wearing a shirt?
No, this is another person.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'll mention it to you off air.
Okay,
but
cool.
We were talking, and I said to him, so what are the chances of you think Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman coming out of this triple threat together? He thinks it's not a possibility because it might be just too easy at this point. I think he believes that. I think he said that he's rolling with CM Punk on this match, which again, I'm not ruling that out either.
I'm leaning that way too.
But I'm still keeping the Seth term with Paul Heyman alive. I when we first heard about that, I'm like, okay, swerve for night one, ending night one. I mean,
I feel like I said that in our group chat before it started becoming a thing all over the internet, and I was like, "Oh, come on, I said
probably."
that.
we'll give us a little bit of credit, but yeah, we'll give us the silent credit. It's all good, but yeah, I think if you're going to leave night one out with a bang, just like how last year, you had the big cliffhanger of The Rock and Roman winning, and everybody had, Cody in like a thing like, oh, well, he's definitely not winning now. How are you going to do? I think if you're going to leave night one in a cliffhanger or some type of big bang to get into the next night, Seth Rollins leaving with Paul Heyman would be the best swerve. But the thing is, you want to kind of make it interesting and not too predictable. The fact like, oh, Paul Heyman is just going to turn on Roman and turn on CM Punk all in that last minute. I think it's going to be little subtle hints throughout the match that he's, either doing something or, just making subtle things. And all of a sudden it just gets to the point where almost like the Cena and Rock moment where they just both lock eyes and it just, like, okay, let's do it. And then it just turns. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know how that would happen. But if it doesn't, I am going with CM Punk pulling the win out of this.
I think it's safe to say neither one of us have Roman Reigns winning this match, right?
And I was just thinking that too. It's funny how, he's, going for what his 9th or 10th main event, but we don't have him winning.
WWE is claiming it's his 11th.
Okay. Well,
And I think that's because they're counting 36 where he was supposed to defend against Goldberg. Even though he checked out of it for the pandemic, they're acting like, oh, well, that was the pandemic's fault. That wasn't really Roman Reigns' fault. So we want to be able to say this is his 11th main event, the most of all time, right?
Right. What's one more, right?
Yeah. I almost... So here's the thing, right? They had the main event of night 1 tie into the main event of night 2 last year. I almost want to say we get The Rock coming out at the end of night 1.
Okay.
I want to say, because CM Punk went on that tear about The Rock, right after Elimination Chamber. I don't know though. Like I don't. That's such like a bold. That's a bold prediction. Is you have The Rock come out and lay out Roman Reigns, right?
Yeah.
That I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen.
No. If we're going in those type of things, I would definitely think if Roman's losing to this triple threat, and if you're trying to play him into night 2 in any type of thing, obviously going into the Cody and John Cena thing,
then you have
Rock comes out trying to help Cena. Not that he necessarily needs the help, but obviously you're going to get Rock and Travis Scott doing something in there again.
But I have a hard time believing that Roman Reigns isn't going to be involved in the main event of night 2 somehow, right?
It's weird to say that he would be helping out Cody. But then again, Cody helped him, so it's almost like paying back a favor because, Roman was just saying like, well, I don't need to take favors. I don't ask favors from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But, you would think that Cody and Roman had so much of like the connection with each other and since their feud that they've had some type of truce with each other. Because obviously if Cody was willing to help Roman, there could have been a silent plan between him and Cody that, if I need an extra help, if Rock comes out and tries to, pull this match, I might need your help.
Yeah, you get Roman coming out to Cody's aid. And then it helps set up The Rock and Roman for next year.
That's the ultimate plan. Yeah. So that will set up The Rock and Roman. Doesn't have to be anything big. Just obviously,
Small
could be
teaser.
a spear to Rock and or a spear to Cena, whatever. But yeah, that would be a way that you can connect Roman into night 2 and start his next thing going into next year's Mania.
Get the ball rolling on that.
Yeah,
I like it.
Long form storytelling.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins could really use the win in this match.
I think so too. That's why I'm not ruling him out. But if you're, because you can. I still think there's money in the CM Punk and Seth feud. So you could
I still
get
think that
CM Punk and Seth at Backlash.
I still think you could get CM Punk and Seth Rollins one-on-one at next year's WrestleMania. Like Seth Rollins is CM Punk's like they are each other's arch nemesis. Like there's
Yes.
no other bigger feud outside of the two of them together.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you want to say, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had such a long program going. I'm glad that's done and over with.
Me
right?
too.
And you could do Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns whenever. I feel like that match, that could be the both of their like final matches together in like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, once Roman's officially,
on his way
hanging up, that'll be one of the last ones he does for sure. Yeah.
And I don't think Cody's going to be really far behind him. Like it's crazy to think
they're all up there. Yeah.
Let's get to Sunday, night 2.
Yeah, night 2.
Wow, we said we were going to keep this quick, but we are getting into it a little bit. But some of these, I think that we're gonna breeze through them a little bit.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are defending against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I gotta say, it's the booking's fault that like we don't care about the women's tag team championship.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the women's mid-card titles. Like the only focus has been on Charlotte and Tiff, which has been poorly booked in itself.
Yeah, with that, it's been, probably the worst booked outside of the triple threat for the women. But yeah.
So the booking all around for the women just kind of stinks, right?
Yeah.
And it's a shame because they have a lot of talent to work with. It's almost like they're just relying on the talent to do the work, but the talent are like, you're not giving us quality content to make this feel important for us, right?
And it's crazy because NXT has so many good women who are killing it down there. So, oh my God, it's like it's almost like you don't want them to leave NXT, but you want them to get on the main roster just so they can start, killing it on the main roster and giving some of these women something to really be like, oh, wow, these are girls that are coming in and we got to step up our game. But you don't want them to leave NXT because they're like doing so much good work in there. You don't want them to get lost in the main roster because, there's only so much time you can get. But all the women there are getting so much perfect time down there.
Yeah.
So it's, crazy how, and there's people that still don't watch NXT. Mm-hmm. And I mean, me being, I don't watch it every week, but I over the last couple, months, I've been trying to keep a little bit more eye on it. And that's one of the things I've been really noticing is the women's division down there is stellar.
It's wild. To me, I feel like Triple H was kind of like just in a place of like uncertainty with like, I kind of don't know what to do with what I have in front of me right now. And they are doing another women's evolution PLE. And I think they need to rebrand the women on the main roster. Like the whole main roster women's division needs a complete facelift. Yeah. And I am hopeful that at this point in time next year going into Mania 42, the whole women's division feels 10 times more important. Like get us back to where the women were, like the triple threat women's main event for Mania 35, like how we were like, okay, wow, the women are owning it right now.
And they deserved the main event that year.
Oh yeah.
Like at this point, I would want to point to have like an invasion of like the women NXT invading the main roster of the women to just be like, hey, like you can do like a War Games thing with, the best 5 NXT women and the best 5, main roster women and just have them brawl out on that just so it gives a highlight to the NXT women. Mm-hmm. And I would be all money on that if that happens.
Me too. I actually think they need to do almost like when they did Survivor Series and they brought NXT into the mix.
Yeah.
That could help it. It doesn't have to be Survivor Series, but they could find a way to do something different to kind of just change it up a little bit.
With that said,
I have Liv Morgan and Raquel retaining here, and
me too.
I will say, I am hopeful that they do a Wyatt 6 situation where you get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross doing something with the two of them after the match, and give us a Wyatt 6 moment at Mania to make them feel important going onward after Mania. I feel like they took Alexa Bliss off TV for that reason.
For that.
Yeah. So just like Big E coming into the picture for that Raw tag team thing, if they don't do that, it's almost like a shoe-in. They gotta do this Wyatt 6 thing here.
Yeah, I've been okay with them being off TV for a little while because, you know, they did the thing they needed to do. They had the 2 feuds and just let it go for a little bit because there was only so much that was really going to be doing.
I know Bo Dallas behind the scenes had an injury going on, like an undisclosed injury, and that's why they pulled them off TV. I heard
a little bit of that, so yeah.
So they were starting to tease the stuff with Alexa Bliss. And then I think Bo wasn't quite clear, so it was like they were holding off on it. Yeah, they probably
pushed it off a little bit.
So very much a la like the Jade Cargill, like she's almost ready to come back, and then she still wasn't ready. So that whole thing, Triple H was just like kicking the can around, like not really knowing what to do with it. I feel like they took Alexa off TV. Bo Dallas, as of 2 weeks ago, was cleared. I feel like they're positioning something for them to come out at Mania. And I'm like,
if not at Mania, I would like to see that night after Mania on Monday Night Raw. Liv and Raquel come out, you know, saying that they retained. Then we get, you know, Alexa Bliss come out and do a little thing, and then obviously, you know, they start beating her down. Lights go out. Nikki Cross gets in the ring, and, you know, sets up for that tag team. That would be really nice.
Yeah, I really feel
because you don't need the whole Wyatt 6 at that point. You can just have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross just doing their thing. You don't necessarily have to have the whole big Wyatt 6 in there.
Yeah,
you can even just have it be Nikki Cross and Bo Dallas.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm saying I feel like that's what this is because they were talking about doing Lyra Valkyria defending against Bayley or against Liv Morgan. Like, we thought we were getting a triple threat women's intercontinental match. And I feel like last Friday they just threw together this gauntlet for the women's tag team titles.
Yeah.
Like, randomly. And I was like, I bet I was like, that just seems so random. And I feel like they're giving us this women's tag title match to get us the Wyatt 6 at Mania. Like,
trying to, you know, paint it to getting that story kicked off. So yeah, I would like to see that happen for sure.
AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This is a match where I don't care who wins or loses. I think
it's going to be a stellar match.
I think Logan Paul, without a title, he can afford to lose this match, and AJ Styles being at the end of his career, just give AJ the win, and let's call it what it is. I think it's going to be freaking awesome. I think AJ knows, like, he's going to hang it up pretty soon. So he's like, I'm going to go in the ring with someone that I know has been actively just killing it and 100% wants to prove themselves time and time again. This is almost a dream match that we never thought of, right? So
yeah, I mean, my instinct's Logan Paul, just because Logan Paul's insanely good, and that new finisher,
sick.
So good.
I'm good with us going different routes here. Because I'm good with either one of them winning. I am too. I'm gonna go AJ Styles.
You AJ Styles, okay? I'll go Logan Paul then. So yeah, I'm okay with either because I agree with everything you said that, you know, Logan Paul can't afford to lose, but if he does, it's not much of an issue. AJ Styles being at the end of his career, you know, he can take up all the wins that he can get, but if he loses one, if he's putting somebody over, it's a good thing. So otherwise, as long as they put on a good match, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, all of that being said, AJ will also do the job and to Logan Paul, and Logan Paul can win. Let Jey Uso win the title and let Logan Paul go beat Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title. Like, I would not be surprised if Logan Paul was the World Heavyweight champion in the next 3-4 months. Logan Paul might win that title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, if that's the way, fantasy booking leads it to, yeah, that would be amazing. I would not be mad about having a good world title match, Jey Uso and Logan Paul.
I wouldn't hate it. Here we go. This
is the one.
I think okay.
What do you think?
I want all 4 of these guys to win this match.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. We have Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, defending against Penta, against Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Okay. I said a few weeks ago, when this was the Fatal 4-Way that was rumored, I was like, that to me just sounds like Dominic Mysterio is winning the Intercontinental title match. I have no reason to feel any different about it right now. I think Dominic Mysterio is walking out of there with the IC title. And
I 100% agree.
And I got to say, I'm kind of excited about it.
Me too. And I think, again, how I was saying earlier, this is how the Dom and Finn and the end of Finn being in the Judgment Day is going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to be on the fact that I don't think Dom's going to pin Finn. Dom is definitely going to win. And it may not even happen after the match. It might be some type of segment or thing that happens on Raw. And then, there's going to be somebody new in the Judgment Day. They take out Finn. And like you said, it could be a JD coming back. But it might be too soon. But then again, he could come back and, could be the fact saying, like, he's on Finn's side, but then he turns on Finn. We eventually get Finn and Dom for the Intercontinental Champion, but we get Demon Balor. That would be stoked. I'll be stoked on that. Then another thing wants me to have Penta win this, because Penta has been so good over the last couple months. He has been amazing.
Yeah, man.
Another fact, wants Braun Breaker to continue to just brutalize because he's a beast, but I don't think it's going to hurt him to lose. And, I don't think it's going to hurt Penta to lose either, because he's still on the up and up. But I think the money is where, if it's going to be going to Finn or Dom. And I think the better way is for Dom to win and Finn being kicked out of Judgment Day. That's where my plan is going.
So I actually do think Dominic Mysterio is going to pin Finn Balor, but not intentionally. Here's what I see. Penta is going to hit Finn Balor with, what is it, the Penta Driver?
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
I think that's his finisher.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Mysterio is going to take Penta and toss him out of the ring.
Uh-huh.
Braun Breaker is going to hit Dominic Mysterio with a spear, and then, he's going to hit him with the spear and then, roll out of the way and try to recover. But the way that Dominic Mysterio is going to land, his arm is going to drape across Finn Balor, and the ref is going to count the 1, 2, 3.
Because if you're going to give Dom the win, you got to give him a heel win. So he's going to have, like you just said, with him pulling Penta out of the way, getting the cheap win. So it's not him contributing to actually getting the pin, but, heelishly, using on the back of somebody else's move, getting them out of the way where he pins the person. That would be a nice way to, say, hey, well, you were already down. It's got to be you or me. So I saw the opportunity.
Yep. If if Dom doesn't just land there and get speared and just by accident pin Finn Balor, I could see him just seeing Finn lay there and just put his foot on him and get the 1, 2, 3 and be like, I brought the Intercontinental title back to the Judgment Day because you were laid out. You weren't getting the job done.
And you couldn't do it because obviously, there's been a lot of things where Finn had his chance to bring titles back and he hasn't won it either. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that got Dom into the match, Liv was the person that got him into the match.
Right.
So there's a lot of things going on between that. What was I just going to say? There was... totally forgot what just came to mind, but it's also on the same path of how this Dom and Finn feud is going to, start. That's the thing that I do think they're going to have moments throughout the match that they're going to, bump heads and be like, oh, they're about to start. But like, oh, okay, no, get focused. We're on the same team. And they're going to lead it in.
We're going to get some teases, and then in the end, Dom is going to screw Finn over, or Finn's going to do something.
One of them's going to do something to screw the other one over, and it's going to end up, costing them. But I think Dom is going to be the upper on that, and it's going to end up giving Dom the win.
Yeah.
You could even get Liv and Raquel helping Dom to win too, and they just, he doesn't probably see that they messed up Finn to get it, but he just sees Finn. But it was really obviously Liv and Raquel that caused Finn. There's a lot of things that can happen, but
there's a lot of ways they can do this.
So yeah, there could be that Liv and Raquel get out there and cost Finn the match, because obviously Raquel does not like Finn.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious. So
I don't see I don't see all of that not panning out in this match, right? Like if the four of them just go out there and then suddenly Penta wins the match, like that, they wouldn't be doing all of this on TV. Yeah. For that to just not play into the match, right? Like,
right. I don't see any other way that Dom doesn't win.
I'm looking forward to it though, and this is the epitome of the storytelling being important for the match, right? Like this is where it is. This match like really is the epitome of the storytelling being significant and super important. It's not just, oh yeah, we like these four wrestlers and they're going to put on a good match. Like the storytelling makes this match, right?
Yeah.
Priest against Drew McIntyre, I gotta say, like, it's one of the matches that I care the least about.
Same.
I'm not as high on Damian Priest as some people might be.
There's something about his strut that just, I don't know. It just like he tries too hard. Like just something about he's like, and I'm like, just walk right, dude. Like, I don't know. Like every time I see him walk, it's like he tries to act too cool. I'm like, dude, just walk straight, man. Yeah, like you're trying too hard to act. Like you just see somebody overact. It's like that's how I feel Damian Priest is right now. He's overacting.
You're so right, man.
I've been wanting to get that off my chest for the last couple of weeks, and I'm so glad I got to say that on this pod.
I can tell it's really been bothering you. Yeah,
I'm like just. Stop it. Like, like, I don't know. It's like, he just tries too hard sometimes.
Yeah.
I like Damian Priest, but it's like, he tries too hard sometimes. And that's one of the things, like every time he's like, you see him on like the backstage cameos and he's like doing like this thing, like just walk straight, like stop it. Like,
just stop it.
Get some help. Like, oh my God. It's like,
I love that you were that upset about it, that you just had to let that out. You're like,
I just don't know.
This has really been bothering me.
It really has. Like I'm like, oh my god, dude! And now like he's gonna do that like during WrestleMania. I'm like, dude, this guy has to lose now.
Oh my god!
But in that, I think Drew's gonna get, even though he did get his 5 minutes of fame last year. I think he does win over Damian Priest.
I think Damian needs to look like he's very close to beating Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre just hits him with a Claymore and then 1, 2, 3. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Just
I don't see this match being too long.
no. I think that Damian, with his eyes bulging out of his head, has been really a sight to see.
Yeah.
And by that, I'm just like, bro, are you okay? I keep thinking
That was almost like that Chris Benoit moment where he like got, I forget the moment, but it was like either he got kicked in the head or thrown out of the ring and hit his head or something. He was just in that like eye bulge moment, and like, and everybody's like, that's the time where he like, there's like, must have been a time where he, started getting that CTE. Yeah, that. That's your thumbnail this week, so it's good.
Dude.
It's a zinger.
Just give me Drew McIntyre winning here. I don't care about this match otherwise. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre for the win.
I think Damian Priest away from the Judgment Day, they're going to have to shake up the rosters to the point where you need to find someone perfect for Priest to, like, make a good story with before I can get back into him again. Because right now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely lost a bit of his stride. But yeah, it's like, if you're going to give him a match at Mania, I guess this is the one that you're going to have to put him through. But again, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just give Drew the win.
Sorry. Io Sky. Io Sky is defending against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. The build to get to here has also been really strange.
Very shaky.
I am going with Bianca Belair gets this win just because she is undefeated at WrestleMania.
My first initial thought was Bianca Belair 2. My second is Io just getting the upset win just because she's been, overlooked between Rhea and Bianca. So people would not expect her to get the upset and retain out of this, which I would not be mad about. Because, I mean, I like Io. The language barrier is obviously always going to be, on the bad side of her just because of being a champion. We've seen that in the past, but
she is stellar in the ring, though, man. Like,
she is really good. Rhea is who she is. I don't think it's gonna hurt not winning this because she can always still chase and get it back.
Rhea Ripley's a megastar, dude. Like, so like it doesn't hurt her to lose this match.
It's not gonna hurt her at all. So I think if anything, Bianca or Io coming out of the win with this would be my two choices.
You know what? I think that Bianca and Rhea Ripley could continue their feud without the title.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Kairi Sane is supposed to be coming back. So it's like, all right, are you just going to have...
I heard Asuka's,
she's on her way back too.
On her way back too. So the three of them will be back soon together. So
yeah. And I like Io with the belt, and then you have Kairi Sane and Asuka coming back.
Mm-hmm.
if Io Sky has the title, then Asuka comes back, and then you have Asuka versus Io Sky. I want to see that match.
Yeah, that will
so
be a great
bad.
match.
I
That'll be a
want
great match.
I want to see that match so bad.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley can have a program without the belt, but it's almost like, okay, if Bianca loses this match, does she just go back to the Naomi and Jade Cargill stuff? I guess so.
Yeah, there's no other
and then
way to go.
And then you have Rhea Ripley just kind of going after Asuka, or somebody else enters the equation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you don't have Rhea winning, if Bianca, wins or loses, she goes back to the Naomi and Jade thing. Io Sky, if she wins, could Rhea, still chase Io and get into the feud with that, or where else does Rhea go from there? Bianca winning, she could still go to Jade and Naomi, and that's how you could probably get the Jade and Naomi match with the title. But I don't think you need a title for that match because, I think that's a destined match that you're going to see eventually. But I'm still going with either Io or Bianca. But, my impression wants to say that's the way that they've been booking it, even though it's been really washy. But the fact that they've been really trying to, undersell Io, like she doesn't matter in this match, still makes me feel that she's going to come out of the win, and nobody's going to expect it.
I'll go with Io. I like it. I mean, at first I did say I think Bianca because she's undefeated, but it is a triple threat match.
Yeah.
Which also means it's no disqualification. So we can
get some.
We can get Kairi Sane and Asuka in here. If Asuka's cleared to go.
If so, yeah. Because, I mean, ultimately, I really don't think either of the three women losing is going to hurt too much. But it's more of like who's going to gain something out of it. So I don't think it's going to hurt whoever loses. But it's more, like if the person who wins is going to gain something out of it.
Here's a question. Does Naomi get involved? And go after Bianca?
I think it depends on if she wins or loses with Jade.
Because like I said,
she'll feel after that.
Because like I said, after this, she's going back to them, whether she has the belt or not.
Yeah.
So I feel like Bianca. I feel like Naomi could help costs, or Naomi comes in and then Jade comes in to try to save her and inadvertently takes out Bianca, and then there that goes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Io Sky winning.
I'm gonna stick with Io Sky on this one. I think this can be, the one that, will be the unpredictable one. So I'll say Io Sky.
All right, let's get to it. Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
The main event for night 2. The one we've been waiting for. With this, you're thinking of how Cody came into WrestleMania night 2 last year. He was obviously underdog. Nobody thought he was probably going to, well, I'm sure people thought he was going to win, but there was also that chance because we took a poll that day during the live stream, and I think we had like a 50-50, poll with, the audience who were Roman fans and Cody fans. So it was, pretty split down the middle, and it could have gone, either way. But it's a different, type of thing going into night 2 this year because, obviously Cody's champion, so he is more than likely expected to be like, okay, you need to retain this. But then you have John Cena's, thing to be like, hey, I'm going to win my 17th championship. I'm going to ruin wrestling. He's giving all these demands, and it's the first time he's been heel in so long. So it's almost like you want to see what John's going to do with this championship, but you also don't want to see Cody lose, because then it's like, do you want to just see him chasing again? But he's also seen to be a little stale as well. So it's like, maybe you do need to get him to chase again to give him, the fuel to get him back up again.
Ultimately, I will not be surprised if we get a triple threat with John and Randy and Cody Rhodes at Backlash. Just because, you can have Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton start their program after that. Like, they can just break out of that, and then you can have John Cena go on and continue his tour. Unless Cena's like, no, I just want to do one-on-one matches. I want to build feuds one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like John Cena is the obvious choice. So I'm like, well, I feel like Triple H loves Cody Rhodes so much. It's like tough to say Triple H is going to say, all right, you're losing.
Yeah, because Cena's last Mania match was what?
Cena's last Mania match?
Yeah.
That would be Bray Wyatt, WrestleMania 36.
And he lost that.
He did.
So
it was a cinematic match.
It was the cinematic one, yeah. So, I mean, if you want to counter or not.
Well, before that, it was his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34.
That's right, and he lost that one, too. So if you're going off those two, obviously Taker, you're going to lose that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. He faced Austin Theory at WrestleMania 39.
That's right.
Which Austin Theory beat John Cena.
That's right, he did. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
That was Vince McMahon.
So he's had 2 or 3 losses over the last couple of Manias. So
it's safe to say John Cena's probably going to win his last and his final WrestleMania here, right?
Yeah, I mean, going off of that now, it's like you got to give him the win, because if you're going to give him that 17th win, why not do it on the biggest stage? Because like we've said before, Cody can just be chasing it and win it later down the road. That's the way Cena ends his tour, is Cody gets back on top. But the fact is, knowing that The Rock and Cena are this, dynamic duo now, how much are we seeing The Rock being influencing Cena throughout his if he's going to keep this title? How much do we see The Rock and Cena together now? So, or is Cena just going to continue to? Well, he's obviously shown that he can still ride the heel character without Rock with the promos he's been doing. But so you don't necessarily need The Rock the whole time.
It's wild to me that we had John Cena face The Rock at WrestleMania 28 and 29, which we know he lost the first one and won the second. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. which he won.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena versus Rusev, United States Championship at WrestleMania 31. John Cena was injured for Mania 32. This was when the Wyatts cornered The Rock. The Rock pins Eric Rowan
in like 5 seconds.
And 3 seconds, whatever it was. And then Bray and Luke Harper come in to surround The Rock, and then John Cena runs in for the save. WrestleMania 33, John Cena and Nikki Bella defeated The Miz and Maurice. And then John Cena proposed.
Right, yeah. That ended up well.
WrestleMania 34 was The Undertaker. WrestleMania 35 was when we got Elias, and he came out as the Doctor of Thugonomics.
True. Yeah.
36 was the cinematic match with Bray Wyatt. There was no John Cena for 37.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm almost positive.
Yeah, because he's been out of it for the last 2 or 3 of them. So this is the first Mania he's been probably since 36.
John Cena was absent from WrestleMania 37 due to filming obligations for the HBO Max series Peacemaker.
Yep.
Quarantine regulations upon his return to Canada after WrestleMania in Florida made it logistically impossible for him to attend. Okay, 38. John Cena did not wrestle at WrestleMania 38. He expressed his excitement for the Reigns and Lesnar match. Yeah, and then 39 was his Austin Theory match. Yep. So John Cena hasn't main evented WrestleMania in 12 years. And he's getting a main event, his last one with Cody Rhodes.
I mean, in those type of logistics, I don't see why you don't give John the last one.
Yeah. It's not going to hurt Cody Rhodes here to lose as long as they book him on the chase properly again.
There will be some sad kids that night, but I think ultimately, you got to give it to John. Because if this is his last tour, this is his last run, one last time, there's got to be some big thing that comes out of this thing. He's not going to lose every pay-per-view, and he's not going to, have a big Elimination Chamber win to lose at WrestleMania.
Yep.
So he's going to win at Mania. He's going to be on the rest of these pay-per-views for the rest of the year. So, and you're probably not going to obviously get Cody and him fighting every single pay-per-view. He's going to run through a couple people, but I think ultimately Cody will be the one to take it off. Or you could get Roman to take it off Cena, and that can also be the way that The Rock and Roman get into their feud, So there's a lot of, and I guess we can talk about that another time, depending on what happens, so we can see where Cena goes from there.
Next week when we do the reaction,
we will definitely talk about that on the reaction show.
Sweet.
So, if we're good, I think we could probably wrap it up from here, man.
I think so too. I mean, we got started a little earlier than we're used to getting started, so we went a little bit lengthier than we anticipated here.
So if you guys are still with us at this point, give us the number ones in the comments. We hope you all liked the prediction episode. Let us know your predictions. And, we're looking forward to having our, finale episode, the reaction to WrestleMania. And we might maybe have a little something special for that one, but we'll talk about it off air and see if we can work something out. If so, we'll make some posts about it. But with that, once again, if you guys are here for the first time, thank you for joining us. My name is Anthony Irvin. I'm here with my co-host, Jim Green. And make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and following to us all at the handle of One Set Pod on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and right here on YouTube when we upload every Friday at 9 a.m. Jim, one more time, tell everybody where they can hit us up in and around our episodes.
that would be on Facebook at the group One Set Fam. It is where we are building that community for just 24/7 engagement. If you want to hit us up, that's the place to find us for sure.
Cool little community we're having right there.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and again, check us out on the Gmail, onesetpod@gmail.com. Check out our merch store, buy some merch. And we do have a Patreon. We're trying to, get some people over there too. So check the stuff in the description. And we will see you guys next week for our WrestleMania reaction. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the WrestleMania festivities. If anybody is in Las Vegas this weekend, I hope you guys are having fun and enjoy the shows. And we will see you on the next episode of One Set. Thanks, guys.
Happy WrestleMania weekend, Noel.